Thor: Love and Thunder finally released, and I am here to make a video about that. That movie can be the best film of Marvel's Phase 4. So I can even make one more video talking about all the details and Easter eggs, so you can subscribe to see when it comes out. Let's get into the video. First, it was a brave decision to start the movie from the eyes of our main villain. And putting together everything that happened in Thor's life after the endgame with Korg's tales was a good solution to keeping up the fast pace and moving into the main story. In the beginning, Gorr's weakness in the desert was shown perfectly by Christian Bale. He lost his only hope after losing his daughter. Then, he found an oasis. But here he saw his god, and he didn't even care about what their people had been through. This golden god was directly a comics reference. I'm not sure, but this man right here holding the Necrosword is probably Knull from the Venom comic series. His story is identical to what happened here, so I guess that's him. Going back to the story, when Gorr saw this god, he understood it's not worth it to pray for someone who doesn't even bother to help them, and he tried to kill him. At this moment, the Necrosword saw the rage inside Gorr and chose him to kill the golden god and every single god in the universe. If you're someone who is not familiar with Marvel Comics, you might ask, what is Necrosword exactly? As we saw, this sword becomes way more powerful in the darkness. We saw this weapon controlling and creating symbiotes on its own. That's because it was made by Knull. He is a variant of Venom. Knull used to like darkness, but then Celestials came and brightened the universe with galaxies. That's why Knull created a Necrosword to get his revenge on the gods. Thus, Gorr and Sword merged for one purpose: to kill all gods in the universe. And we saw after killing this god, he took his powers too, which means with each god, he becomes more and more powerful. But both of them knew they couldn't find every single god in the universe. That's why they aimed to find eternity, and the only way to find it is to open a way there with Bifrost. Since Asgard was destroyed, the only thing that can open Bifrost is Stormbreaker. Then, Gorr started to kill other gods one by one until reaching Thor's powers. But these gods were innocent gods who were trying to help their people, because the main guilty gods were hiding here with Zeus. It's hard to say, but Gorr's motivation sounds reasonable after seeing Zeus and other gods. The next scene, where we saw Thor's adventures with Guardians of the Galaxy, was fun to watch, and I think the comedy and humor overall were good in the movie. There, I felt Thor is too strong for this team. I mean, they were struggling there, while Thor came and easily defeated all looters. Here, the only important thing, except the fact that Thor can split his legs, is Gorr killed these people's god, and continued to defeat other gods one by one. Then we saw Sif, injured hard while trying to help Behemoth, and the first Valhalla reference is given here. Some scenes were weirdly short, and that's because Marvel cut so many scenes. Director Taika Waititi said he has a 4-hour length of director cut. There's a chance that Marvel can release it after fans demand. There's such a small detail, but here, the energy of Behemoth still remains, but Gorr left it there. That's because he found out where Stormbreaker is, and went to attack the new Asgard. The Asgard fight scene was good. We saw both Gorr's and Thor's powers, and understood Thor is not an easy god to beat for Gorr. Jane's scenes with Mjolnir were fine. And for those who don't know why Mjolnir chose Jane, that's because Thor enchanted it to protect Jane. Thor and Jane's memories from the past explained everything that happened after Thor: The Dark World. Back to the Asgard fight, Gorr understood that he can't win against all of them, and can't take Stormbreaker in this fight. He took the children, and pulled Thor to the Dark Planet where his powers are way more powerful. And since he doesn't know which children are more special for Thor, he took all of them. Then, they came to other gods to get help, but all of them were bastard gods, and rejected Thor's offer and preferred to hide there instead. Zeus even made fun of Thor by flicking his clothes off, but he knew and was afraid of Thor's powers. In fact, he gave the order to kill Thor, instead of fighting with him by himself. In this fight scene, we saw Thor in the strongest form, since he caught the lightning and threw it back faster than Zeus. In other words, he won against Zeus without much effort, but I think Zeus deserved it. So, when it comes to the next fight scene, Gorr's pressure on Thor to call Stormbreaker was intense. And it's impressive that they managed to make a good fight scene with black and white colors. I thought Thor could at least harm Gorr in this fight, but they lost because of the advantage of Gorr on the Dark Planet. When they came back to Asgard, Jane's illness became stronger, and Gorr had the Stormbreaker. But Thor decided to go back and fight with him by himself. When Thor went back to save the children and take Stormbreaker, he gave his powers to the children. That means he can do enchantment as Odin did to Mjolnir. The children fought against the shadow monsters, and Thor battled with Gorr. He couldn't win Gorr's Necrosword though. Then in the last second, Jane came in and saved Thor. But here's the thing. If Mjolnir's purpose is to save Jane, why would it make her want to use the hammer? I think that's because, if Thor died, Jane would die too after hearing that. That's why it brought Jane into the battle. And they made solid teamwork. and destroyed the Necrosword. But Gorr reached his goal and found eternity. Here, he planned to ask eternity to wipe out all the gods from the universe. But after Thor's speech, he remembered the old times, and asked eternity to bring her daughter back. He obviously didn't plan that, but he saw Thor as different from other gods. He loves other people. That's why he understood he can trust Thor to take care of his child. In the end, we saw Thor adopting Gorr's daughter, and fighting in the battles with her. And we understood why the movie is called Love and Thunder. Overall, I think it was by far the best movie of Marvel's Phase 4. But it could be better if they kept some scenes longer, and brought back some deleted ones. Perhaps Marvel is doing this on purpose, and planning to lower the quality of the movies until their next big Avengers movie. That was it for this video. If you haven't seen my theories about this movie, you can check them out here.